Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I have a massive grin on my face. I know. Why? Because it's arrived. The week is here. Celtic are back. Saturday. Back in action. How good does it feel to say that? This is it. Monday, the countdown is on. We're going to be here all week with content as we build up to the return of Celtic this weekend. And today we start off with a belter because we're going to be talking to one of Celtic's newest signings. Amongst that, a little bit of right-back conversation because there's some wild rumours starting. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated on the road to 37,000 subscribers. Can we get there before the end of the year? Probably not, but let's try. So if you haven't, down below, it's absolutely free. It would be much appreciated. So yeah, you're not going to see much of me this video. I'm going to try and keep my part short and simple, very brief, because we're going to be speaking to Alistair Johnston in this video. Yes, today I had the pleasure of being along at Celtic Park to speak to Celtic's newest signing, or one of our newest signings anyway, who has obviously came in post Qatar 2022, but had a very impressive showing with the Canadian national team. We were invited along to ask some questions today, and all I can say is just keep watching, strap yourselves in, enjoy it this evening, because one of the best players that I've ever spoke to, and if he can play as half as good as he spoke today, we've certainly signed another great player because he was really, really intelligent, a real nice guy to speak to. He seems really keen to get going here at Celtic. So I've posed a couple of questions to him. We'll have them here in a moment. I'll play the rest of the press conference too. Went in depth with every one of his answers. As I said, a real pleasure to speak to. So we'll play that a little bit later on. But talking about right backs in a very right back orientated video, the news about Juranovic, Barcelona. Are we going to be selling Josip Juranovic to a club as big as Barcelona? Well, maybe. It's no secret by now that Josip Juranovic will likely move on from Celtic this coming transfer window. He has been a fantastic player for us since signing at the beginning of last season, and his great form, both at club level and international level, has rightly gathered interest from clubs all over Europe. In the summer, we heard him linked with clubs like Atletico Madrid, Manchester United, and although these clubs are still interested, well, today it was broke in the news, or in the rumour mill anyway, that Barcelona are interested in signing the Croatian international. He's been heavily linked with a move away, as we know, but Barcelona are the newest side to be thrown into the hat of names. Honestly, I didn't think I'd see the day Celtic were selling players to Barcelona. He was phenomenal the other night in the quarterfinals of the World Cup. He was probably one of the biggest reasons Croatia managed to make it through to the semis, in fact. He was just so good, and with millions around the world watching, and scouts, of course, watching, he's certainly put himself in a position where the stock will just be rising. He's got a big semi-final coming up, another good performance there, and, you know, it's all but done, isn't it? We are probably going to see him move on. It's the reason we have signed someone like Alistair Johnston. And, you know, for a player who has come under some criticism this season and has mixed reviews from fans, I think that if you can move your own opinions aside for a moment, Josip Juranovic is one of the best fullbacks we've seen at Celtic in recent times. When you're talking about the player that we know is there, his quality is unbelievable, and there's a reason that this catastrophic rise from the likes of Celtic to maybe a Barcelona is on the cards, because he's just that good. So the rumours were starting that Barcelona are looking at him as an option. They were wanting Diego Dalot from Manchester United, but he looks as though he'll be extending his contract with them. So they are looking at alternate options, and Josip Juranovic is one of those players, apparently. So, I mean, if the lure of Barcelona comes calling, you cannot in a million years stand in the way of a transfer from Celtic to Barcelona. That's just, I mean, we all love Celtic, let's be real. We'd love our players to stay here, and we don't want to see them go, but to have the opportunity to move to a club the size of Barcelona, you're talking maybe the biggest club in football history. They're up there, them and Real Madrid. They're the two standout names. For the chance of that, at the age that he is, you're not going to stand in the way of that. So, you know, it could be possible that he heads there. Chelsea, Manchester United, I think West Ham were a team. Atletico are still rumoured to be interested in as well. These are massive clubs, and Josip Juranovic does deserve a move that size. He's been a brilliant player for us. He's been fantastic in the World Cup, and I said in the video last week, he'll move on with my best wishes. However, Josip Juranovic isn't letting it faze him right now. He was quoted in the media this week replying to some of these rumours and giving his response to it all. This is what Josip Juranovic had to say. He said, "Honestly, I haven't read what was written since we've arrived. We're just focused on the national team. I even told my agent not to send me anything. I'm not interested at all right now. I want to do something for myself, my future sons and daughters. I want to tell them the story of what we did, and I want to be proud. I may not be a player worth 20, 30 million euros, but you must know one thing, I never gave up. Even when I was in Hajduk and Dubrava, nor in Celtic, nor in Croatia, my parents taught me to look forward. Life tells strange stories. I stuck to my point that I needed to prove myself on the field." So he is keeping himself very much private right now. We don't know what talks have went on. We don't know if he spoke to any representatives of any other clubs. He's focused on the job at hand in Qatar. Honestly, if I was in the situation he was in, I wouldn't be giving a thought about Celtic right now. I wouldn't be thinking about what's happening here. I'd be focusing on trying to win the World Cup, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. So you can't fault him for that. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens when he comes back. Of course, a big semi-final. They've got a huge chance of getting themselves to the final again. There's no denying that. Argentina, tough team. It will be a tough game. But, Saturday when we're playing, I'm pretty sure there's a big chance that he'll be playing the following day, but in a World Cup final. So he's got his concentration cap on. He's thinking hard, and he's looking at that at the moment. And we'll deal with it when it comes back. We know that he'll probably move on, but he deserves this opportunity. And best of luck to him in the World Cup as well. So then, I'm going to leave you here. I'm going to let you switch over to Mr. Johnston, who we spoke to today at Celtic Park. I had the opportunity to ask a couple of questions. I was right at the end. I was last, but for the purpose of my video, I'm going to move me to first. So I'll get my questions out of the way, and then we'll get the other questions that were asked. Some fantastic questions from numerous different outlets. I have credited everyone in the video as well, so you know who asked the question. But a few things that he said that I really liked, and you'll know yourself when you watch it what to like, especially in relation to my questions. I asked about his past as a hockey player, and he talked about how he likes a tackle, he likes to hit someone. I was thinking to myself, that'll do us well, son. That'll help for the derbies. And obviously talking about stuff like the Champions League and his experiences at the World Cup. So many great replies to so many great questions. So just sit back, enjoy it, and that will see you out to the end of this video. Apologies to the cynic, I believe, who asked the first set of questions. My camera didn't catch it in time for the actual question itself, but you'll get the gist of what was asked when you listen to his reply, which I did manage to catch. Anyway, that'll do me. Like and subscribe. Enjoy Mr. Johnston, and I'll see you all next time. Alistair, you spoke a lot about the player that you've become, playing different positions and such. I was reading earlier on that you used to play competitive ice hockey. Is there any traits from that's carried over, that's kind of moulded you into the football player you've become?
Yeah, I love a tackle. I love the physical play. I like the cold weather too. You'll see the short sleeves will be out. I think that you guys can all get behind that. But no, it's definitely the physical play, I think. That's probably the thing I miss most about playing hockey, is just you could just hit a guy, and that was perfectly legal. Like, that was if you did hit a guy, the coach would actually get mad at you when you came onto the bench. But so I try to bring that into how I play football too. Really physical. Every game there's going to be mind games. Myself and the winger, I like to get in their head, and that's kind of something that's just always been growing up in a family of three boys, where I've just been super competitive for everything, and it's always ended in a shouting match or someone throwing the ball at the other one, and before you know it, we're all getting kicked to our rooms by our moms. So it's stuff like that it's kind of molded me into the player I am today. Extremely physical, extremely competitive, and you'll see that hopefully shortly.
And they also, obviously, just back in Qatar, biggest competition in the sport. Do you think that's helped set you up nicely to come here and challenge for trophies, playing competitions like the Champions League? How's that prepared you?
Yeah, I think it just gave me that little bit of that taste of what it means to play on the biggest level when the entire world's watching. And once you get a bit of that, it kind of is a bit of a drug that you just can't get enough of once you start it. So it was exactly that, playing out there, you just want more now. And that's something that actually the manager, when he called me, he said that, look, after you play in the World Cup, you're going to be like, I just want more. I just want more matches like that, of that magnitude, playing in front of that many people, and you can just tell how much it means to everyone. And that was something that I said, that's why Celtic is just a perfect fit. You could just see the fan base, the crowd, and then of course, there's European nights that are just top notch. So no, I'm looking forward to all of that, and I think it's already prepared me mentally. It's hard to fully prepare for what Celtic Park's going to look like. but at the same time, that's a pretty good stepping stone, I guess you could say, to being ready for this. Got told no a lot. Got told I wasn't good enough, wasn't big enough, and had to kind of take a different pathway than most players that have probably played for Celtic. I've kind of gone the road less ventured to a degree. But I think, again, if you have a love for the sport, you have a passion for it, you're not really willing to take no as an answer, which I wasn't, just because I love the sport so much. Good things happen because all it takes is one person to say yes and give you a chance. And that's kind of been, I'd say the MO of my career. It's just so far, my young career, it's that I've just kind of rolled with the punches and kept going. And yeah, even if a lot of people said, no, you don't belong, you don't deserve to be here, you just keep going, keep grinding away at it. And, normally good things happen to people who work hard. And that's kind of been what my career's been about so far.
Mm-hmm. What have the last 10 days been like for you?
Oh yeah, it's been a bit mental, to be honest. Now the Celtic fans have been unbelievable. The welcoming I've got over social media, I mean, they literally have nearly broken my phone, nearly put it out of commission. And of course, getting now into Glasgow, it's been a lot of fun. Getting recognized in the streets a little bit different than what I'm used to. To keep a low profile, it's pretty difficult, but at the same time, that's what you want. It's pretty cool to feel like you're really a part of something here, and you're not just representing a football club, but you're representing an entire city. So no, it's been a really exciting 10 days, and now we're just looking forward to kicking on and hopefully getting a first match in a couple of months, in the next couple of months here shortly. So no, just really looking forward to it.
When the report first came out, it was funny because the next game you played at the World Cup was against Croatia. Mm-hmm. We obviously have a Celtic right back on the books. Were you aware of that at all going into the game? Did you chat to Juranovic at all?
I was aware, and he was great. He was the one that came up to me actually after the match. He found me out, and yeah, just a really good lad. So no, that was a pretty cool moment. And again, he's a top player. He's a really top player. He really impressed me playing against him, and you can just see there's a reason why that he's been an integral part of this Croatia team that is currently a World Cup semifinalist. He's been one of the top performing players, I think, on that team. And we struggled against him as a Canadian team. He caused us a lot of issues. So fair play to him, and I'd love to see him at the end of this weekend lifting up a World Cup. How amazing would that be? So, no, kudos goes out to him. Really good lad, and looking forward to meeting him some more.
How soon was it after you spoke to Ange initially? Did you feel you wanted to join Celtic? How important was what Ange said to you?
No, immediately. I think when you hear a manager who speaks the same language in terms of what he wants to do and has the same vision of you as a player, that's something that really speaks to you. For me, he was trying to bring in a revolution of young players who had similar aspirations, who had a bit of a chip on their shoulder, and wanted to go out there and prove something. And the style of football he wants to play, and where he wants to be in Europe. It was something that really kind of, just felt like a perfect fit, to be honest. Oh, sorry, I'm losing my voice here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, if we got any water, that'd be great. It's that cold air out there, the back of the warmth has gotten me here. But yeah, no, it was like I was speaking to someone, cut from the same cloth. So for me, it was just a great fit. And I knew before that Celtic was the club I wanted to go to, and after speaking to him, I said, look, we got to get this done right away. I want to be there. So I was happy we could, and just really happy to be here now.
Yeah, I heard you had liked your national team coach that played
half,
get experience, and you want to challenge yourself by playing there. Could you tell us a bit more about that, and if you want to challenge yourself to do it Celtic?
Yeah, so that's a great story, actually. John Herdman called me, our national team manager, and he was looking like, look, I think I want to play a back three. That would require you playing outside right center back, Alistair. Do you have any experience of that? Like, what are your thoughts on it? And I was going, I really like that idea. I thought it would be a great fit for me and a great chance to, really solidify myself a starting spot on that national team at that point. So of course I did what anyone with a sane mind would do and said, yeah, I played bit of right center back in my time. Yeah, no, it feels all right. I feel comfortable out there. He went, okay, perfect. And of course, next camp I went into a couple weeks later, he had me out there, and I went, okay, now I really need to show up. If I don't know what I'm doing out here, it's going to look real bad on myself. But yeah, no, it was a complete lie. He knows it too now. But no, it worked out for me because it's been a role that Oh, lovely. Thank you. Yeah. Sparklinger still.
Cheers.
Oh, that's good. No, it's been a role that I've kind of made my own a little bit with the Canadian national team, and it's that tactical flexibility is kind of what changed us a little bit. We were able now to go from a back three to a back four to a back five, all mid-game, and a lot of that goes down to him being really comfortable to move me from right center back to right wing back if needed. So, it's provided a lot of flexibility for us, and I'm just really happy that I lied to a national team manager.
I just told you what your role would be at the club.
I think as a fullback, I don't think we're going to be doing any hybrid right center back stuff. But no, he was one that said, look, he wants me here. He thinks I'm a player that fits the DNA of what a Celtic player is. And it's going to be up to me to go out there and earn some minutes. So that's kind of where we're at right now, and I'm just really excited to get started.
Are there any fullbacks that you model your game on or try to learn from?
So a lot of people have said that I kind of play like Cesar Azpilicueta a little bit. Just his, again, the flexibility he provides, the consistency, the 1v1 defending. He's just so solid week in, week out. I think that's a great player that I would love to try and continue to model my game after. But there's so many fullbacks now. You can see how just constantly the game's evolving. You see a guy like Trent come in, how he's pinging 80-yard diagonals all the time and crossing balls in from everywhere. And it's so interesting to see the different kind of fullbacks there are. So I think there's a little bit I want to take from everyone. Honestly, there's been some really good ones that have come through Celtic as well. I think of Kieran Tierney, first one that pops to my head. Just another guy that just can get up and down the park, fittest guy in the field, and loves to defend. And that's something that I'd love to be. And you can also see his progression he's made at Arsenal, where he's pretty good in the final third. Like, he can put a ball in, he can get involved in the attack, and that's something that I'd love to continue to grow in my game too. So, there's so many different players to look at, and it's cool to see how this position's evolved, especially over the past decade.
Something we've been getting used to here, Alistair, is the inverted fullback role. That fullback coming inside. You've spoken there about playing right centre half in a back three. I spoke to Peter Galindo, Canadian journalist, who was saying that he thought that you'd be the perfect fit here at Celtic. Having that experience at right centre back, do you think the inverted fullback role's right up your street?
Yeah, honestly, when I watch Celtic, how they play with those inverted fullbacks, it's something that there's not a lot of clubs in the world that do that. You have to be very possession dominating in that kind of sense to be able to play that. So you look at it, it's probably only really Celtic, Man City that do it on a consistent basis. But I think it really kind of plays into how I like to play the game, just because I grew up being a center mid my entire life. Only until a couple of years ago I moved to right back. So it's not like I feel out of place when I have to tuck into the midfield, and it kind of puts you in range into that left side to be able to hit the diagonal, and it opens up a lot more different kind of opportunities too. And as a defender, having played against it before, it's awful. It's just trying to get your winger to tuck in and defend the inside, and you realize you're giving up your winger out wide. It makes it really difficult to defend, and I think that that's something that, just from watching some tape on Celtic, some teams have struggled with it. So it's something that I'm really intrigued with doing too, because I kind of fancy myself as a bit of a soccer fanatic, football fanatic, and I love to study the game, and I think that's something that you can do with fullbacks that can really mess up an opponent. And obviously we've seen that so far this year and previously under Ange. So it would be cool to be a part of.
Can I just also ask you, you said you've taken a different career path to kind of most football players coming through. Rio Hatate's kind of in a similar mould that you. He came through the university system in Japan. Late bloomer, obviously you've got a lot of international caps under your belt. Do you think the system in the MLS has suited that to give younger players that experience, obviously with no relegation system, that you can try and break into the first team?
Yeah, it's really different how the MLS is compared to every other league in the world. Obviously, not having relegation and promotion makes things a bit more secure, I guess you could say. To really throw out some youngsters, some younger players that can get a chance. And yeah, it worked out perfectly for me. Often a guy who's gone to university for 4 years and comes in the league still in the MLS, you don't really get a chance, just because an MLS team is way more likely to play one of their youngsters coming through their academy, for example. Why would we take a chance on a 21-year-old who we have no affiliation to, when we could just go out and give that 17-year-old that's been with us for multiple years a chance at that position. So I got lucky. Honestly, I got drafted to an expansion team, so there was no academy yet. So I was, 21 years old and the youngest starter on the team still. So it was kind of funny in that sense that I wasn't even that young, but I was the youngest guy. So I got lucky. But yeah, no, my career path's been completely different than most. But it's good to see that there is still a pathway. There's not just one way. I kind of say with Canada, you don't have to be the Alphonso Davies at 15 years old, being bought pretty much by Bayern Munich. You can go the other way, and so many guys on our national team have done that. Gone the actual the college route, university way, down south in the U.S. So it's cool to show young footballers, especially in North America, that there's not just one set way to do it. And hopefully that gives everyone, all those young guys, hope still that just because they haven't made it at the age of 18, 19, that their dream's not done yet.